Many of you probably woke up today, you realized it was April 22nd. Oh, okay, Thursday, April 22nd. But did you know today is also Earth Day, and it is the 51st anniversary of Earth Day. To talk more about that, let's bring in Cathy Wesley. She's a park naturalist for the West Bloomfield Parks Department. Thank you so much for being with us.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day from the Nature Room.
What a cool place to spend Earth Day.
Yes, it is awesome. I get to spend it here with our lovely live animals and this lovely mural. It is definitely a great way to spend Earth Day.
So we think back to 2020, and all the celebrations were pretty much put on hold because we are in the very beginning stages of the pandemic. We're more than a year into this. Hopefully there are more ways that people can get out and enjoy Earth Day, because if anything over the past year, I think a lot of people have come to appreciate Mother Nature so much more.
Yes, there's always ways to celebrate Earth Day. So we actually had our Earth Day event Tuesday. So we partnered with some local conservation groups like the Oakland Audubon Society, the Clinton River Watershed, SISMA, and we had our event here at the Recreation Activity Center where there were activities, crafts, the outdoor natural play area. We also led hikes. So that was one way you could have celebrated. There's also lots of things that we can all do as individuals to help celebrate Earth Day. So at WB Parks, we have our green initiative. And so each year we add another new green practice to our to what we do here. So a couple of years ago, we started composting. This year we got canvas bags for when we go shopping for our programs and events. So there's always stuff to do to help the earth.
So I always feel bad, though, I will tell you, Cathy, is that I buy the recyclable bags, and then I say, okay, I'm going to start using these. And then you buy your groceries, you put them in the bags, and then you bring them in the house, and you always forget to put them back in your car. So then it starts the cycle over and over again. And but there are so many great documentaries on right now, like Netflix and Prime Video, talking about Mother Nature and the importance of Mother Nature, and just some of the things that we're seeing because of the pandemic, like, excuse me, the number of masks and gloves that have been washing up in like our wetlands because people aren't properly disposing of them.
Yes, so the masks are kind of like the new pop ring. So if you use disposable masks, a good thing to do would be to cut those straps before you throw them away. Definitely make sure you find like a waste receptacle to put them in. But yeah.
Wait, why do you cut the straps? Is it?
So those are getting caught on animals, just like, a few years ago, how everyone was told those pop rings that are on like 6 packs of pop, to make sure you cut those. Those straps are getting caught on wildlife, so make sure you cut those strings.
So with that too, do you think people really are starting to understand and appreciate Mother Nature more because of the pandemic?
Oh, absolutely. We've definitely seen an increase in the number of patrons visiting the parks over the past year, just because, like you were saying, people are trying to get out and about. We've also gotten lots of questions about what people can do. So we've had like lots of groups come and ask, oh, can we do a cleanup? Oh, can we help remove invasive species? That's something else that people can do to help the planet, and that's something great to celebrate Earth Day, is to remove non-native invasive species from your property and plant native ones. We have some stewardship days coming up this Saturday. We have our first garlic mustard stewardship. So I'll be taking a group of people out and teaching them what garlic mustard is and why you need to worry about it and how to remove it from your property. And then after you remove it, you want to plant native things. So we have our native plant sale coming up in May, where you can order plants from Ecology and then do a curbside pickup at Marshbank. And so you're replacing those non-native invasives with native plants that help our wildlife.
I will say I'm curious now, because garlic mustard sounds like something good.
So garlic mustard is edible, actually. It was brought over. So a non-native invasive is a plant or animal that was brought over after the European settlement. So the European settlers that came to America actually brought garlic mustard as a food source because they didn't know what was going to be here to eat. So you can eat garlic mustard. It is in the mustard family, but it smells and tastes a lot like garlic. So you can substitute the garlic in your dish with this leafy green. I've had pesto made from it. I've had it where it's in potato salad. It's actually pretty tasty.
Yeah, I will say one thing that I have come to hate, absolutely hate, is buckthorn. We live on the West Bloomfield Trail, and I know, even a couple weeks ago, some of the neighbors and I got together and we were, cleaning up along the trail, because we do know that so much of our trash on trash day, just windy days, it blows and then it ends up on the trail and this, that, and the other. And cleaning up, and of course you get all scratched up, and it is the worst stuff to try to get rid of.
It is, and the best time to get rid of like the woody invasives like that is actually in the fall, because in the fall the woody plants are drawing all their nutrient down into the root ball. So the best thing to do is actually to cut them, and then you can paint. It's called painting the stump with herbicide, so you don't have it's not getting into anything else, because you're directly painting the stump of the plant that you cut, and it's then drawing that chemical down into its root ball, and that's what can kill it actually. So that's the best time to take care of that woody, horrible, glossy buckthorn.
I'm marking that as my calendar or something to remember, because it does multiply like gremlins.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. Once invasives get that foothold, it is really hard. But if, that old adage, many hands make light work. So if everybody just kind of deals with the invasives on their property, it would drastically slow the spread of all these invasives.
How do people know what's invasive and what isn't?
So in this area, we have some common invasives like garlic mustard, Dame's rocket, the buckthorn, Phragmites with all the lakes and everything. So that really tall, dense, feathery grass that grows in waterways. There's a lot of great resources out there. Again, we offer stewardship hikes where we're focusing on different invasives, and we teach people about them to educate them so they can then manage them on their property.
So we're talking with Cathy Wesley. She's a park naturalist for the West Bloomfield Parks Department, talking about Earth Day. Do you think having a day such as Earth Day really raises awareness and people appreciate Mother Earth more? Or is it one of the days where people go, another holiday?
No, I think it absolutely raises that awareness, because we have this day and we have all these special events to celebrate it. It definitely makes people aware of all the different things that they can do to help celebrate the earth and how they can help take care of it as well. So if that's from, doing a trash cleanup on Earth Day, to doing, a stewardship hike, to planting native plants, that all is definitely helping the planet.
So, Cathy, what other events do you guys have coming up here with the Parks Department? Because you guys do a really good job of being creative, especially over the past year.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we always have lots of different programs coming up. So some other programs we have are this spring. I'm leading a spring bird walk. And so we'll be looking at the birds that are starting to migrate back to Michigan. So a lot of warblers and stuff like that. That's a nice early morning bird walk at 7 a.m. We also have...
I will say, I don't know what it is about the birds, but in our backyard, they're having a party. Like at 5 a.m, man, you are waking up. They're like just going at it. 5, 6 a.m, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's those males calling for the females, saying, "Hey ladies, got some tree for you, just build a nest." So we have the bird walk coming up. We have a bunch of senior hikes. So the next senior hike I am leading is at Bloomer Park to look at what to do in the bloomin' at Bloomer. We also have our Perennial Swap. So we have our native plant sale that's coming up in May. So after you remove those invasives, you can plant some native plants, but then we also have our Perennial Swap, where you bring in something from your garden and you can swap it with something that someone else brought. All this information for all of our upcoming programs can be found at our website, so wbparks.org. And we have stuff for all ages. We have the seniors, the adults, families, and registration just opened up for our camps for both Camp WB and our nature camp this summer. So hoping to get a lot of kids signed up for nature camp, because then when they come to nature camp, they learn to appreciate the nature around them, and then they become stewards of the land. And that's what we really want to do. So as always, we have lots of programs, and you can find them at wbparks.org.
So, Cathy, if I can ask you, because you are a naturalist, obviously we just went through this cold snap. Any advice for people out there right now? Because everything was starting to bloom and look so pretty.
So it's, we live in Michigan. It's not uncommon for us to have these cold spells. And so the plants and animals are kind of adapted to deal with that, because it's not just the weather that kind of that the plants and animals go off of. It's the photo period. So it's the amount of daylight that we have that really signals to these organisms what to do. So even those cold snaps, we are like reptile and amphibian population, they just kind of like burrowed back down under things to kind of keep warm. We might have lost some of our plants, but there's plenty of them that'll still come up and everything. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
We're talking about Cathy Wesley. She's a park naturalist for the West Bloomfield Parks. Cathy, just another minute or two here with you on the MegaCast. If we can go back briefly to talk about the upcoming summer camps, I would imagine, do you anticipate those are going to fill up pretty quickly?
So our registration started Monday, and we have had some that have filled up already. But we do have some weeks that are still available. So for nature camp in particular, we have some camps that are meant just for really young kids. So like 2 to 4, those are half day camps. And then we have camps that are full day, and those are from 6 to 13-year-olds. And they all kind of, each week has a different theme. So like one week is animals through the ages, another is wild water week. And so each one has a different nature theme that it focuses on.
I have a feeling there are going to be so many parents after this year of some remote learning, back in the classroom, back to remote. They are going to look forward to trying to get their kids outdoors and into some of these camps.
Yes, and our camps, because of COVID, our camps, both Nature Camp and Camp WB, are run 100% outside. So it definitely gets them away from the screens, gets them up and moving and outdoors and having a good time.
Cathy, anything else that I didn't touch on that you want to mention before we say goodbye?
So something fun and exciting that people might have been hearing about is the cicadas, the brood X. That is the big deal right now that's going on in the
they're so
entomology
loud.
world. Yes. So brood X is what's called a periodical cicada. So they have been underground for the last 17 years. And this end of May, beginning of June, they will emerge. And they will emerge in some areas further south of here. We really won't get too many in West Bloomfield, but Ann Arbor is the closest kind of site for us. They will emerge where there's 1 million per acre.
What? It's like their coming out party.
It is. And it's a survival adaptation, because when they all emerge at once like that, there's so many of them that the predators can't pick them off. And with how loud they are, at their peak time, it's about 100 decibels, which is equivalent to the sound of a motorcycle. So that's how loud they are. And it's that loud, like, ee-oh, that they make. And that's the males calling to the females to mate. That's what they're doing when they come up.
So I could say something right now about the human species males trying to come up with ways to attract females to mate, but we won't go there. So with that, how long do they live? Do we anticipate, is it just the noise that's going to be bothersome to some people?
So they are not poisonous. They don't have stingers. So if your pet eats them, it's not a big deal. There's actually cookbooks for people on how to cook them and eat them. I don't know if I'm that brave, but it's pretty much just a noise. They're kind of clumsy flyers, so they might land on you because, again, they're a little clumsy. And after they emerge, it takes them 4 to 6 days for their bodies to completely harden before they start their adult activity. And then they're just alive for about 2 weeks, but the total emergence of all of them lasts about 6 weeks.
So with that, Kathy, is it kind of like the fish flies, where then you see them laying around?
Yeah, so what happens is they come up, because right now they are underground and have been for 17 years drinking sap from plant roots, and they'll come up at night after the soil reaches about 64 degrees. They'll come up and then they puff themselves full of air and they split down their exoskeleton. And so you'll see those clinging to trees and plants and everything. And the adults have wings. And the brood X, so this periodical cicada, they are black with red eyes, which is different from our annual cicadas that we hear every year. And they'll fly around, and then, yep, after they mate and lay eggs, we'll find the remains of the adults, because then they do die shortly afterwards. So they're only alive as an adult for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, I'll be sure to avoid Ann Arbor during that time.
Yes, if you don't like them, definitely avoid them. We shouldn't have too many in this area, but it's definitely something cool because it's the largest insect emergence in the world, actually. So it's exciting.
Look at your enthusiasm. Cathy Wesley with us here on the MegaCast. She's a park naturalist with the West Bloomfield Parks. You do have a really fun job, Cathy.
Yes, absolutely. I love teaching people about nature and taking them out there and showing them stuff that they might think is kind of gross, but it's super cool.
And we should note too that the West Bloomfield Parks Department, I know you guys are always hiring for summer, or even the Department of Natural Resources. So if you're someone, you enjoy the outdoors, please help them out and look into joining their team this summer. Cathy, thank you again for being with us.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of this wonderful Earth Day.